He was a bandit, he rode with a gang, robbing banks, stagecoaches, and trains. She was his girl that he'd slip away and see when he could. She longed for the day when he would be able to stay for good. But the leaders settled for nothing less than total loyalty. Riding with him and a man was no longer free to return to the life that he once lived, or the woman that he loved. He had made a deal with the devil, one he'd never be allowed to give up. He was a lawman, so unlike his counterpart. He stood for integrity and had a big heart. All three were raised together and she knew them both well, but she chose the one most unworthy of her love for herself. News arrived in town, another held up train. He assembled a posse and headed out to the plains, intent on bringing them all in, dead or alive. She looked out her window from her boarding room and cried. Her sister came in and sat quietly for a while, then asked her what she had gained by loving an outlaw so vile. She replied, I know he has his faults, but I know what he means to me, and one day I know he will return and stay, wait and see. Her sister said, I've only seen you stand and look out your window for a man that comes, briefly holds you, and turns to then go back to his outlaw gang that to him he holds much dearer. Instead of looking out the window, maybe it's time you look in the mirror. She turned in scorn and told her sister to leave, even though she knew she had told the truth and her words she should heed. And when the lawman rode into town with 7 men on their horses like blankets, she had to accept the truth and had no other choice but to take it. A woman in black at her window looking down on the town, at a lawman having to place one who was once his friend in the ground. After the final prayer and the preacher had spoken his last words, he turned up and looked up to the window at her, hoping that someday she would be able to forgive and understand why he had to track him down and kill her man. He had often questioned why, when she knew how he once felt, the way she had played her hand after the way the cards had been dealt. 1 year later she stood at her window looking down on the church. After the final prayer, the preacher's last blessing was heard. The lawman and her sister arm in arm walked down the steps. She looked away from the window into the mirror and she wept.